So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all being released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. So, good morning, everyone. We're happy to be back after the power outage yesterday. And, sorry, I need to turn down the volume over here. Please, 1 second. Okay. We have a lot of technical parts to our broadcast to take care of. And so right now, our staff is down at River Vihara, so I get to be both tech support and the speaker. So today I wanted to explore the wholesome dharma of non-delusion, amoha. And I thought of titling this talk something like, what we believe is not ultimately true. It's a little bit of a play on words because usually we take what we believe to be true, right? What we believe is what we take to be true. But I would say perhaps one interesting reflection is that what we believe is not ultimately true. And that this is perhaps one way to cultivate more clarity in our lives, less delusion. And I want to share a sutta called the Titta Sutta, where the Buddha hears about a number of contemplatives, religious people, maybe you could say philosophers, who were discussing various ideas. Some believed that the cosmos was infinite. Some people said it was not, it was finite. Some people said that after one got enlightened, one continues on in the world. Some say, nope, that's not the case. Others believe that the universe is eternal. Others say, no, it's going to come to an end. And all these people would debate to the point they said they would quarrel and their words became weapons, like daggers that would just stab each other, fighting, arguing. And the monks told this to the Buddha, and the Buddha told a story that's quite famous, that I think you can find in many cultures, in fact. I wonder if it actually started with this particular sutta, where the Buddha said, imagine there's a king, and he has a huge elephant. And he asks his ministers to go and gather the people who are blind from birth to come to the palace to take, quote unquote, a look at the elephant. So the ministers go out and maybe get a handful of blind men, and they bring them to the palace. And the king tells them, I want you to tell me what an elephant is like. And so each of the blind men are brought to a different part of the elephant. One man touches the side of the elephant and says, oh, it's like a wall. The elephant's like a wall. Another man grabs the tail, says, oh, the elephant's like a brush. It's like a brush. Another one grabs a tusk and says, oh, it's like a spear, sharp. I think in the sutta it says it's a plowshare, but I think for us probably we can think of a spear. It's like a spear. Another could grab the trunk and say, oh, it's like a hose. It's like a big hose. Another one grabs the ear and says, oh, it's just like a fan, kind of thin that you can swing. It's a fan. And it says all these blind men say what they think, and then they argue with each other. No, it's a fan. No, it's a brush. No, it's like a wall. And they come to blows fighting one another. And the king just looks on, okay? And the Buddha says, just like this, people in the world, fight over their beliefs. And it's interesting. It's a simple story. It's kind of from our perspective, it's like, oh, none of those blind men had the full picture. Each one just had one view. And they clung to that view and thought that my way is right, every other way is wrong. And it comes down to a lot of fighting and violence. And in the world these days, this kind of thinking can end up in actual wars where people die. But it's something I think we do in ourselves as well. I had an experience that definitely caused me to think, and I'm going to change some of the details so that it makes it pretty anonymous. But let's just say I was in the monastery and I saw somebody fill up a gas tank. And they went outside the monastery. They're filling up a gas tank. And they had a cigarette. And when I saw them, I thought it was actually I didn't see the cigarette in the beginning. I just saw them, and it was somebody I thought, oh, I knew. I said, oh, hi. How you doing? And they looked at me, and they immediately looked away. And I saw in their hand was a cigarette. I thought to myself, why is that? You could say that person smoking. They're staying at the monastery. This isn't right. And then also they're filling up a gas tank. So this is going to be kind of dangerous. And so I thought, well, should I tell anybody about this? I thought, yeah, I probably should, just for the safety of the community. That's really not such a good thing. So I told some of the administration, and I said, such and such I saw, and they were, filling up a gas tank and smoking. And they all looked at me and said, that's strange. Why would they be doing that? And I said, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I saw the person, and I said hi, and then they turned away because I think they were embarrassed. They didn't want me to see them. And so I didn't look at them again. I just kind of gave them their space. But I feel this is important maybe we need to pay attention to this. So, we talk a little bit, everyone's concerned. Then at some point, we thought, okay, we need to talk to the person. And it would be best if I also spoke with the person. And in this meanwhile, we happen to have some video footage of the situation. And they look at the video, and lo and behold, on the video, it wasn't the person. there was some other person who was wearing generally the same kind of clothing, but it was not the person, somebody else. And when I looked at the video, I said, oh wow, I thought that was the other person. And it really caused me to stop in my tracks, because I realized that if I had talked to that person who I had thought was smoking and filling up the gas tank, I was pretty sure about what I saw. Almost like 100%. So the person had denied what they had done. I would probably have said, you can't, please don't lie to me. I am pretty sure I saw what I saw. So that really caused me to think, wow, what we perceive is still could not actually be true. We have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. And so I think in this kind of world of ours, where there's so many different kinds of people, with so many different points of view, with so many different beliefs, that we realize for ourselves that actually what we believe is only part of the picture. It could work for us. It could be quote unquote true in a provisional sense to help us get through our lives. But if we start to cling to it, hold on to it and think that we're right and everyone else is wrong, then this belief of ours becomes actually an impediment. It becomes a delusion that covers over what we see. And I wanted to go to the maybe more positive side, to say if we're able to not hold so tightly to our views, what it actually does is it opens us up to more curiosity, for more respect of other people, for more possibilities, for a kind of more relaxed way of being. Because you notice when we have to prove that we're right, we get tense, we get protective, we get defensive. But rather, if we can just say, you know what, this is what I believe for right now, because came from what I heard from my friend, or maybe because I heard this from my teacher, I read this in the Buddhist suttas. Right? These are the places that I learned this, so I believe this. But do I know this to be ultimately true? Not for sure. I'm still open. I'm still exploring. I'm still open to learn. And I think if we hold this stance, that we'll have a lot less conflict in our relationships. I'll finish with a brief story that I've told before. Was when I was in elementary school, some other boy approached me and said, David, you argue a lot. And I remember my response was, no, I don't. I don't argue a lot. He said, see, you argue a lot. I said, oh gosh. I said, that's not fair. Because what? If I said I argue a lot, then he's right. I argue a lot. And if I said no, it's not the case, then I'm arguing. So I thought, this is no way out. I remember going home and just really scratching my head, thinking, what? How do I get out of that one? And it was only many years later, after I started learning the Dharma, and then somehow this experience came back into my mind. And I realized I could have just simply said, yes, I do have a habit of arguing a lot, and would really appreciate if you could help me out. If you see me getting fixated on my point of view, maybe we're fixated is probably not a elementary school word, but maybe I can say, if you see me arguing, if you can gently remind me, that'd be very appreciated. Interesting move. But it's such you could say, a simple move. But I've seen so many relationships in my life where it's people fighting in a way that just ends up creating a lot of suffering and a lot of violence and a lot of unhappiness. And if we could just say, you know what I believe to be true, I'm not 100% sure that's true. And I'm willing to listen to you. I'm willing to respect you and listen to why you think what you believe is true. And maybe together we can come to a deeper understanding of how things are. We don't just see a part of the elephant. Little bit by little bit, we could combine the ways that we see to see more and more of the elephant. And so I think that's, in this project we're in the Dharma, is we're trying to develop more and more clarity, more and more respect for ourselves and those around us, and less rigidity around what we believe is true. Okay, so maybe just that much for this morning, and we'll do 3 steps, 1 bow. Actually, I can say one last reflection is, the Buddha said that people in the world attach to money, while religious people, we attach to views. So you can think about that one. Okay.